You're listening to Do That Well with your hosts, Brenda Brown and Karen Thrall, a podcast about real experiences and how to turn them into life lessons. Unscripted, honest, funny, genuine, and passionate, a series of conversations where we explore every aspect of human interaction and provoke each other to do life well.
And here is the jingle. Da 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 da.
Ooh,
Yeah, I know, right?
short and sweet, to the
Right?
point.
Right?
In today's episode, we are going to talk about the tortoise and the hare. Have you ever found yourself working on a project at work and no matter what, it just feels like your coworkers cannot keep up with you? Well, you might be channeling the hare in those moments. Or do you find that you get annoyed if you're being tailgated on the freeway? It's probably because you're feeling a bit like a tortoise.
Especially if you're in the far right lane, then that is so not okay to be tailgated in the far right lane.
No, don't tailgate tortoises in the far right lane. So on today's episode, we'll teach you how to identify the differences between the tortoise and the hare in yourself as well as in others, how you might be different in the workplace versus your personal life. And then we'll talk about how having a nice understanding of the differences between the tortoise and the hare, as well as that flow that happens between them, can help you cultivate stronger relationships with those around you.
Mm-hmm.
Should be fun.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? When we were prepping, I have always thought myself as the hare, like everything is fast, 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 fast. But the more we kept having the conversation, I'm like, oh, but there I'm a tortoise. Oh, that's interesting. And so that's when I realized, whoa, I kind of got to have both of them in me, but I'm known more as a hare where I'm just like zoom, zoom, zoom. And but there are things in my life where I choose the tortoise. So I thought, there we go. We both have them living very much alive inside us.
Definitely. And I think that is so interesting that we've discovered this as we were talking about it, because in my mind, I have always viewed it as these binaries, like you're a tortoise
Yeah.
or you're a hare. And then as
Yeah.
we started to unpack it, you realize that, like many things in life, there's a balance to be had and there's this ebb and flow. And, personally, I think that you likely have one that you're mostly kind of hanging out in most of the time, but you are going to have moments in your life where you're going to ebb one way or the other. And that could have to do with your mood, different things are happening around you, what the particular circumstances. So it's really interesting to see those different moments in our life when we're being a tortoise or a hare. I also think that sometimes there may be a disconnect in the way that we think we're being versus the way that we're being perceived. So you might think that you're being a hare and everybody else might think you're being a tortoise or vice versa.
Yeah.
So it might not always align.
Mm-hmm.
We've already started to go into some of these differences, but let's dig a little bit deeper into, like, what are the differences between the tortoise and the hare? What are some of those characteristics and attributes that we tend to put to either one?
Okay, here's what we'll do. You pick 3 on the hare, and then I'll pick 3 on the hare. Let's just see how much we can, between the two of us, how we perceive the hare and see if they're the same or not the same.
Okay.
You do 3.
Sounds good.
Okay.
When I think of a hare, I think of somebody who probably also just talks fast. Honestly, that's kind of one of the first things that I think of when I think of a hare. I think of somebody that talks fast and likely walks fast.
Okay.
I think of people that sometimes will let the details go to the wayside because it's more important about getting the destination for them.
Yeah.
And I also think of what's another one? A third one's not coming to me for some reason.
Okay. I think a hare is somebody that just wants to get it done. Let's just get this done. I guess you hear them saying that. Okay, let's just how long is this going to take? we can do it faster. So everything is about just get it done and get it off, your task so that you can go on and do something more fun. Or so that's how I picture hair. Hair also I picture as a little bit has a lot more errors in how they do things because they don't mind. So the 80% getting it done in 80% is fine. I think hair is maybe like I liked what you said about they talk faster. And I think they just go to the bottom line. So they may only have 1 or 2 points to make and they go straight to the bottom line. And so they don't always have answers for the questions. Like, well, if people go, well, can I have is there room for questions? Like they forget that there's maybe a lot more in what they're saying instead of just 1.12 and close. Like, those are kind of what I see as a hair.
I like it. And that is similar to what I'm getting at as well.
Yeah.
Ooh, I thought of another one. Okay,
Me
a
too.
third one.
Me too.
For hairs, in my mind, I view people people that are in a hair state,
in a hairy state,
in a hairy state, as being like the phrase like "live fast, die young" kind of comes to my mind, or like like YOLO, you only live once, like that sort of mentality, that very like romantic, just like throwing caution to the wind, playful.
Yes. And I also think a spontaneity. I think a hair has a lot more spontaneity, bends the rules a bit, doesn't have to do exactly the way everyone else does it. There's room for options in there, maybe a little bit of a rule breaker. Yeah. Okay.
The hair sounds cool.
Yeah.
The hair sounds like a James Dean motorcycle riding sort of character,
Okay, so that's the hair. Okay, give me 3 things for tortoise.
We have to make the tortoise cool too.
Yes, we do.
So the tortoises I view opposite of the hare. I view them as being pretty detail oriented. They're not the one that's going to skip out on any little details or points because they want to make sure everything's very thorough. Mm-hmm. So I would say they're very thorough. I also view tortoises as people that are more laid back. I'm sorry to be non-specific, but in my mind, like I want to say have a more laid back vibe.
Yeah.
We want to go there. Like my body even wants to kind of relax a little bit when I talk about the tortoise. So the tortoise, there's their cool points, like
that is. Yeah.
Like they're the beatnik in
the
corner.
Got a swag.
The tortoise has a swagger. They do. And I also see the tortoise as someone, I don't know why this is something I ascribe to the tortoise, but I view tortoises as being not easily ruffled. Like they seem very solid and grounded. Like they're not, it's not easy to ruffle their feathers.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if that's true or not, but
I know. and I think the tortoise stops and smells the roses. They take time to stop and smell the roses. They take time to appreciate. They'll see. I think they'll take time to see things. Like they're just not in a hurry. Like, why are we in a hurry? And I think because, and my perception of a tortoise is they're better at planning, so they don't have to be in a hurry because they've got it all sorted out before they do anything. So what's the rush kind of thing? So I see that. I think tortoises, this is totally no idea if this is right, but I think tortoises are just in case, they'll have, they'll pack extra stuff because you just never know in the suitcase. And I think hares pack barely enough in their suitcase.
Because they're packing so fast.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll forget. They'll forget items because they pack so quickly. Okay, so we got the tortoise, we got the hare. So the hare's got a chilled vibe. I mean, the tortoise has the chilled vibe, and the hare's got a little bit of a sparkly,
little more wound up.
Okay. So here's my question to you, Brenda. My perception of you and your perception of me.
I mean, I definitely perceive you as a hare.
Okay. And I'm stuck with you because I think there's parts of you that are the hare, and I think there's parts of you that are the tortoise. So I don't know. I don't see you, I don't perceive you as a tortoise, but you do have a very laid back vibe to you. Like you do have that kind of go with the flow kind of thing. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Haha.
Uh-huh.
Which am
You are the
I?
mystery. You're the mystery.
So this is where how you might be different in the workplace and your personal life really comes into play.
Okay.
Because I am 100% a hare when it comes to my professional life and the way that I treat my, work. And then when it comes to my personal
Yes.
life,
That's probably why.
100% a tortoise.
Yeah. Because you and I started in the workplace.
And our
Anyway.
relationship, even with our podcast, kind of
Yeah.
ebbs. It
Yes.
goes between the
Yes.
two. So
Yes.
you're seeing my hair moments when I'm
Yeah.
being like really quick and efficient, and I'm getting things done. But then you're also
Yes.
seeing my tortoise
Yes.
moments where I'm like, I'm tired today, Karen.
Your little head gets tucked back into your shell. Yeah. Okay, so have you ever seen me be a tortoise?
I don't know that I have.
Because I was thinking about that, and I think the tortoise for me is when I wake up, but nobody is awake because it's so early. It's still dark out, so nobody's gonna see the tortoise. But I'm for sure a tortoise in the morning. I cannot. So I know that we've talked about that. I'm definitely a tortoise in the morning. The other thing is because of this prepping, it really hit me that I'm a tortoise in developing my business. There's two like philosophies to grow a business. One is you spend money to make money. So I did that in my first year and it didn't go so well. I didn't get a lot of return. So then on my second year of business, I chose the tortoise approach and I like it a lot better. So even though I might be a fast mover, I really like building my business one brick at a time. Like I really enjoy. I like watching the numbers increase incrementally and annually, and just seeing that steady growth. So there you go. That's a tortoise. That's where I'm a tortoise. Is in the actual development of the business.
It's
Interesting.
so
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
And I like that you mentioned, Karen, that you find that you're a tortoise in the morning time, because I think that it's a really interesting concept that even throughout the day, we're going to
Mm,
move in and out
yes.
of
Good
being a tortoise and a
point.
hare. Or for
Mm-hmm.
myself, you know, part of my day is working. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm hare and I'm quick, quick, quick. Maybe that's why I'm a tortoise when I'm not working, because as soon as I am done with that, it's like I need to decompress from that. And then I
Mm-hmm.
just want to sit on the couch and vegetate.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Very
Hmm.
healthy.
What are you like with your friends? Like, which friends are you a hare with, and which ones are you a tortoise with? Or when do you decide to be a hare, and when do you decide to be a tortoise with your friends?
That is a really good question. And I think this is one of those circumstances that I was alluding to earlier where I have a strong feeling if you asked my friends, what they told us would be different than what I think they think.
Oh, okay, okay.
Because I think that I probably am a bit more of a tortoise with my friends. I think I'm usually being kind of slow. I'm honestly the one that's oftentimes late. So I like it's a joke even where I'm like, okay, if I say 10, I'll be there at 10:15. So just pad 15 minutes onto whatever time I tell you, you know. um However, I think that my friends might tell you I'm a hare. So I honestly have no
Oh,
idea.
huh, huh. Where I'm a tortoise in friendships is I have all the time in the world for you. So I have that kind of when I'm with you, I have all the time in the world for you. There's nobody else in my realm. So you're the only one that matters. So I think that's where I'm a tortoise. As I slow way down because I want to enjoy every moment with you. When this is all that I care about. So I think that's when I'm a tortoise. But I think I'm in all my mannerisms and my nature, everything is a hare. But I like even this morning I went for my hike. There's a really great mountain that I hike. Takes door to door. It's about 90 minutes, and it's just beautiful. And you look over Palm Springs, and I just love it. But I'm like, I'm just going up, And you have some people, they're just like walking and taking pictures. And I'm like, click. That picture is not going to stop me from walking up this mountain. But I don't mean to go so fast, but I do notice that I tend to like, I enjoy that, the bit of the adrenaline in that. But then, when I'm golfing, Corey and I are chilled. I am so like laid back. There's no rush ever on the golf course. Everything you put it all, you leave it behind you. And if it takes 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, doesn't matter. So it's really interesting what environment I am, how the tortoise shows up when I'm golfing, but when I'm hiking, it's like the hare.
That is so interesting.
Yeah.
And I wonder as well, it starts to make me think about how different activities
Mm-hmm.
will draw out these characteristics. So it's interesting to see as well how being able to conjure these different, conjure the tortoise or the hare, depending on the circumstance, the situation
Mm-hmm.
that you're in, beyond the workplace, even
Mm-hmm.
just as simple as whether or not you're playing golf or going on a hike.
What's interesting too? If I want to just have a stroll, then I will go for a stroll. But if I'm going to tackle, like if I'm going to go up a mountain and I'm all set, then I do have a cardio mentality. But if I just want to stroll and cruise, like take the bicycle, like, so I have two bicycle mindsets. I got one that just cruises through town and I'm looking at all the architecture and I'm just having a grand old time. And then I've got the bicycle. I'm just like just getting my heart rate up. So it is interesting, like the mindset. So I think in the Taurus and the hare, there's a mindset, I'm wondering, that's attached to how we behave.
And what I really like about this as we talk about this more and more, in the old fable of the tortoise and the hare, the whole takeaway is that slow and steady wins the race, right?
Mm-hmm,
That the
mm-hmm,
whole takeaway is supposed to be you should be slow and mindful and cautious and don't be the hare. But we're
mm-hmm,
finding that there are circumstances where being the hare is beneficial. And it actually is that is who you want to channel is the
mm-hmm,
hare in certain circumstances. So I think it's great because we're showing that both the tortoise and the hare are needed and they can both achieve things really well, but
mm-hmm,
they're just going to get there in different ways, and
mm-hmm,
they might not have the same result,
mm-hmm.
but there are times when either can serve you.
Mm-hmm. And I think how, if we go into workplace or relationships, so if one of you in the relationship tends to take more of a tortoise approach and one of you takes more of the hare approach, the hare can be impatient, like, let's go, let's go, let's go. And the tortoise can be going, can you just slow down a minute? Like, what is the rush? So you can see where they're both going, how do we make this work so we don't drive each other crazy? And in the workplace, it's the same thing. And the way I describe it whenever I do coaching stuff, and I'll go right to the point on this. If you think of the alphabet, so A to Z, both the tortoise and the hare at the letter A, and they're both seeing the letter Z. And the hare goes, I see the letter Z. I love the letter Z. Let's go. And the zoom, 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 let's go. And this little hare is dropping all these letters along the way. And he's like, leave them, just leave them. It's fine. And he just keeps, and so by the time he gets to Z, he's got like 18 of the letters. And the tortoise is going, are you kidding me? That was so unnecessary. We're fine. We don't need those other 8 letters. Yes, you do. It's the alphabet. So then the tortoise goes, and the tortoise is going, okay, I'm going to run, but I'm going to run A to B, and I'm going to do a check in, and then I'm going to run B to C. I'm going to do a check in. So it goes a little slower, but the tortoise does get to the Z. It just goes a little slower, and it's going to be a lot more, which I want to throw back to, because efficient, if you look at those examples, they both see efficiency very, very differently. So efficient is, let's do all the work ahead of time so there are no errors and take our time so that we knock it out of the park. Efficiency for the hare is, let's get there as fast as possible while we have this adrenaline passion, and let's kickstart this, and it's okay if it's flawed. We can manage it. So when you can see where these two can't always get along. So yes, we're having a lot of fun on hare and tortoise, but they don't actually always get along. They get very annoyed with each other, both relationally and in the workplace.
But when
Yeah.
you say efficiency, it's funny listening to you talk about it because I think I view efficiency somewhere in between. Like for
Mm,
me, efficiency is when you can do things with very little error and also quickly.
Ooh, nice. Well, there we go. See, there we go. That's why the tortoise and the hare work. Because the tortoise is going to make sure it's done without errors, and the hare is going to make sure it's done quickly. But they have to figure out how to negotiate the length of time and how fast they're going to go.
And there needs to be that communication and understanding of one another. Okay, you need to get there fast, so you're willing to let
Yeah.
go of a few of the letters. I want more letters. Where can we meet in the middle and, find an amount of letters and amount of time that suits us both?
Mhm. And on that, what I'd say to tortoises, if you're in a relationship with a hare that who's predominantly a hare, or you have a colleague who's a hare, and I can speak on this in myself as well, it's not urgent. Don't be fooled by this fast, let's go, let's go, let's go. It's actually not urgent. And you have to tell yourself, this is not urgent. They act like it's urgent. They talk like it's urgent. Everything is fast, but this is not urgent. And so that will help a tortoise go, I don't have to match them on that energy. So it's okay for a tortoise to say, I get it. You want to go now, but I have 2 more things I got to do, and then we're going. But let me get them done as fast as possible. Leave me alone. Just let me get them done, and I'll be ready. So there is a way to negotiate this halfway point with both of them.
And I think that's a really good reminder for the workplace, especially because when you're doing so much communication over email, I think it can be really easy to, if you get an email from a hare and it has this like sense of
Oh
urgency and you're like,
yeah.
oh my goodness,
Mm.
I need to get back to this person right this minute, but I actually have this
Yes.
other thing that I'm working on and it's more
Yes.
important than this email, but this email's stressing me out. Okay, maybe I am a tortoise sometimes at work too, because that happens to me on occasion. And I think it's okay to remember, just because this person,
Mhm.
for them, it's really fast and they're hoping to get a response right this minute, but you still have your priorities that you have in front of you. And it's
Mhm.
okay if you need to take some time.
Mhm.
For me, in those circumstances, I like to just quickly email them to say, hey, I got this. I'm working on it. This is
Yeah.
when I'll get back to you, so that I get them
Yeah.
something, because I know that they're hair and I know that they want
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then if I'm having a tortoise moment, I try to give them something, but it's not what they want at that
Yeah.
moment, as you
Yeah.
said. So it's that negotiation between the two.
Because normally, excuse me, normally they're just trying to carry on and do something else, but they can wait. They
Right.
can. As a fellow hare, I can wait, and I'm fine. So don't ever let a hare kind of push you around. You're allowed to say, no, I'm not doing it right now, but I'll do it in an hour. Go run, go run around some laps, go do something. And come back to me, and that's okay.
Are hares pushy? Did we just uncover another one?
Oh,
Can hares be pushy?
I think hares are so sure of their decision that well, why wait? Let's just go now. Let's just do it now. And I think, and they're so full of ideas. Another thing I would say about hares and tortoises is the hare normally has more ideas, because their minds, like, they're constantly coming up with ideas, and that's great. And the tortoise has the magic that makes those ideas better than anybody could ever dream. So if you look at the race, the tortoise and the hare, slow and steady wins the race. Well, yeah, because they have the magic. They have the magic that makes that idea phenomenal. Like, they say, you leave that idea with me, and I'll take it to a whole other level. And I mean, Corey and I in travels are this way. I go, we've had this on podcasts, what we should do? Let's do this. And actually, I just said this to him the other day. I said, I got an idea. I did it again. I got an idea. This is what we should do. You know what? And then he went, and I knew I started getting that like hair thing going, like, let's go. And then he started asking questions like, no, don't ask questions. And you can tell a tortoise will ask questions, and it's not to shut down the hare, it's to get clarity so that the idea is going to be phenomenal. And so tortoises, what I love about tortoises is the calmness they bring to passion. They make passion realistic. They make it become to life because of their calm. Like you were saying, they're so laid back. And I don't think any hare can accomplish anything without an extraordinary tortoise side by side. I really don't. Hares
And vice
cannot.
versa. Yeah.
Yeah. Hares
They need
can't
each
take
other.
credit. Yeah, exactly.
Don't leave the tortoise behind.
Do not leave the tortoise behind.
Well, these are all really good examples, and you can really see how, there is the necessity. The necessity is there for both of them, and how they do complement one another very well. How in your personal life and in your professional life that there are different ways you can try and navigate to find that common ground with the other. And then also remembering that you yourself are going to ebb
Yes.
and flow throughout the two. I mean, how
Yeah.
many examples did we just give of our own personal lives where we were like, wait, actually, I'm a hare. No, I'm a tortoise. Oh, actually, I do a hare when I do that, but I'm a tortoise when I do this,
Yeah.
And
So well said.
so
Well
really
said.
remembering that we have the capacity for both and being able to recognize when we're doing one or the other, and then being mindful of who we're interacting with and what they might need depending on where
Hmm.
they're at.
That's so good. Because I was thinking, like, even for me, to remember, hey, Karen, in the early mornings when you're a tortoise, yeah, do you love it? I love it. Well, this is them in the afternoon, or this is them at work. Oh, I get it. They have that feeling, I love this, when they get to be a tortoise in this scenario. Like, you get to be understanding and you get to relate.
Helps us relate to each other,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
And it can be difficult, like everything we discuss really on this podcast. It can be difficult to keep that in mind, right? If you're taking your time and you're having a nice meal and you're enjoying it and you're really savoring every sip, and then the other person is sitting across from you and they're done with their meal and they're just like, how's it going? Are you gonna finish that? Are you almost done? I'm really excited to go on this walk later. As soon as you're done, let's hit the road, And if that's happening to you and you're the one that's enjoying your meal, it can be difficult in that moment to have
Yeah.
patience and say, no, I want to eat my meal.
Yeah.
So it is difficult, but
Mm,
it does help when you remember those moments for yourself, as you said,
mm.
that
And how funny.
the tables would be turned.
Yeah, how funny it is. Like, you can have a good laugh about it. Okay, so this is the hair tortoise happening right now. Like, when you not take excuse me, not take yourself so seriously.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
Or yeah, poking fun of it, making light of it. I think that
yeah.
always helps to bring some levity to the situation. In that same scenario, if you're the person that's eating your food slowly, you can be like, "Well, you can go on a run, get a run out while I'm finishing my juice. I'll be right there with you."
Yeah,
Give
because
them
you
some
don't
options.
have and you don't have to cave in to the other person, both ways. Just
Right.
enjoy who you are, and
Can't we all just get along, Karen?
I know, right? Is it that hard? Is it?
The answer is yes, it is. But it's a battle that's worth fighting.
Mm, mm, mm. It's good. It's good stuff.
Well, we are reaching the end of our time. Are there any parting words that we have for the audience? I feel like we've really covered most of it, but are there any messages that we feel like we need to end on today?
I would say I do an inventory. Like, it is kind of fun. Like, hang out with your friend and go, okay, you say when you're a tortoise and a hare, and I'll tell you when I'm a tortoise and a hare, and then go through every aspect of your life and have a laugh, because it does lighten things up and you realize, wow, I've got these two little creatures living inside me. And you will lean towards one. So that's my takeaway from all this.
I like that. I think that's a really nice call to action. Like, sit down with your friends, have some fun with it. Sit down with yourself. Think about when you're being the tortoise, when you're being the hare. See if you can catch yourself in the moment.
Uh,
Like, when we're talking about the workplace, especially, I'm starting to think of moments when I'm doing one or the other in work, and I think it'd be fun if I'm doing it in the moment to try and catch myself and say, "Oh, I'm being a hare." Like, is that is the hare the right thing for this circumstance, or
Mm.
do I need to bring in my tortoise side right now? And
Wow,
like see if
good.
we can start to identify in the moment if that's even the right energy that we need to
Mm.
bring to
I know,
something.
so good. I'll probably have to really bring in the tortoise a lot more in my life. Yeah, that's good insight.
Tortoise. All right. Well, it's been fun talking about the tortoise and the hare today. And hopefully, you will have some fun with your friends or with yourself, discovering the moments that you are being one or the other. And we will see you again next week on Do That Well.
Bye.
Bye.